journalism students, and welcome to Journalism 101. This is a class that I call the Fast and the Furious because we have lots of ground to cover. My name is Rhonda Guess, and I'll be your professor and your guide. So let's start with our textbooks. We have a reader that I love to use in this class, Behind the Camera, or Life Behind the Camera by Chuck Quinzio. This is a reader that I love because it gives students a real perspective into what it is like to report in a large American city. This is set in Chicago, and Chuck Quinzio is a photojournalist, photographer, they are also called, and he has stories that will absolutely floor you. And I'd like to read a little from the introduction to his book, which I think is well written. So, March 5th, 1993. I can still see the young Hispanic man with the gunshot wound to his chest, and I can still hear him struggling to breathe. I can hear the faint sound of gunfire and wailing police sirens in the distance, an unwanted 4th of July atmosphere in this extremely violent part of Chicago. I remember every detail vividly. The kid fought harder and harder to breathe, and the sounds he was making got louder and louder. He was heavily tattooed, wore gang colors, couldn't have been more than a teenager, and was dying on the very streets that raised him. It struck me that there was no visible blood, just burn marks on his shirt, outlining the hole in his chest cavity. So Life Behind the Camera provides us with a graphic look at reporting and how the job reporters do can be in their face, can be emotionally draining, can be challenging, can make them question their ethics, their upbringing, their values, and religion. We'll find out about all of that in Life Behind the Camera. That's our reader. Next, we have our textbook. And this is a rather new textbook for us. This is Inside Reporting by Tim Harrower. You can see I'm like dog-earing and using it. I like this a lot because I believe it is important that we provide you with a foundational education in journalism. You have to have a foundation. You have to know what newsrooms are like. Even if you never planned to be a reporter, if you wanted to be a doctor and you took a biology course, they wouldn't give you shortcuts just because you have no plans to become a physician one day. And it's the same for journalism. We give you the foundation, we give you the practice, and we provide everything that we think will help produce someone who has really learned to collect and gather the news, as this course is called. Our next book that's important this semester, and this is an old one, but you can buy this online and you can go back for years. Or we like it if you have at least 2016 till now you can use. Mine's older, but I have many. This is just the quickest one I had at home. The Associated Press Style Book and Libel Manual. This is like our reference book. This is like the print journalist's Bible. And in this book, you'll find things like, okay, just for your own edification, if we look up towards, you know, that word towards, that preposition, it'll say in the style book, it's toward, no S. But often in Middle English, people write towards with an S. It isn't so. All of proper standard punctuation and grammar is found here, and we have style tests throughout our short semester. But the great part about Associated Press learning is that journalists use this book constantly. You're tested on this, but you get to use the book as a reference. So there's no reason to ever get an Associated Press style question wrong on a quiz. And then there are books I use to help you, like the Copy Editor's Handbook for newspapers. And I like this because anything that helps drill you and helps you focus on concepts that we cover, I think is good. So you don't have this book. This is a book that I use to give you exercises. And then there's this book. What sort of book is this, right? This is one of my books that I love. It's been edited many, many times. And I just kept it from college because I loved it so much, the things they say here. And of course, I'm going to read a little for you, just to give you food for thought. It's called When Words Collide, Understanding Grammar and Style. Because believe me, the keys to what you will learn in this class are in writing. And writing is like a muscle. Writing can always be improved. You just do it over and over and over. So, okay, language is our lifeline. The symbols and sounds we arrange in our writing and speech direct our entire existence. Through our communications, we establish relationships, conduct business, exchange information, and express emotions. Our communication is based on shared understandings and common conventions. To convey meaning accurately, we frame language according to accepted rules. Those rules are grammar. To show our ability to use language in a correct and creative way, we employ another component, style. So grammar and style are our friends, and that sound means we're at the midpoint of this lecture, which I cannot believe, but we'll take a short break. I think it's time for you to go stretch your legs and maybe go wash your hands, and I'll be back with you momentarily. Oh, hello students, welcome back. Okay, just one more paragraph from The Glamour of Grammar in Chapter 1 of When Words Collide. Words may be our only tool, but consider their variety. Suppose the English language had only 1,000 nouns and 1,000 verbs. A writer could combine these words as subject, verb, object to form 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000 three-word sentences, 1 billion different sentences. Of course, our language contains far more than 1,000 nouns and verbs, as well as other classes of words, and sentences can be longer than 3 words. Our linguists calculated it would take 10 million years to utter all the possible 20-word English references. Let me read that again. One linguist calculated it would take 10 trillion years to utter all the possible 20-word English sentences. If the variety of our language is not infinite, it is at least mind-boggling. But our mind should not be boggled when we write. We need a system to help us select, use, and link these words. We need order. We need grammar. Grammar is the system we use to combine words into larger units, phrases, clauses, sentences, paragraphs to convey ideas and information. Grammar tells us how words relate to each other and presents us with guidelines for saying these words. But this is only the most recent meaning of the word. In classical Greek and Latin, grammar denoted the methodological study of the entire field of literature. In the Middle Ages, and then I'll stop there. But grammar is extremely important to us. And you will learn in this class, I will say this over and over during this semester. There is an order of words that we like in journalism. Instead of saying we like an order, we refer to journalistic syntax. Syntax just means word order. The syntax in journalism is thus: subject, verb, object. That is the way we like you to write. It helps us elude the passive voice. It makes writing direct. It makes sentences powerful. And that is what we are looking for. You'll often hear me refer to SVO for word order. And in any journalism program, they will talk about this for print journalism. Subject, verb, object. We will ask you to make your writing muscular and powerful. And the way you'll do that is by letting adverbs drop away, making writing streamlined, making sure that your news writing reflects the ABCs, accuracy, brevity, and clarity. So you're going to hear a lot of this. I just sometimes wish I had a different post-it pre-made to put on my forehead. Syntax is not good. Subject, verb, object, please. But learning is repetition, so I will just be saying it over and over. But our time is short in a 6-week course, so take notes because a pencil has the longest memory. Something else I'd like to show you for this semester is I'm always on the lookout for talent. I want to see who the writers are. And anyone can learn to write. It's done through repetition. You inform your writing by reading. And what do you read? Well, you can read newspapers in a journalism class because I will be giving you current events quizzes. Why? Journalists must know what's happening. They have to stay abreast. You have journalists who get up and read 5 newspapers a day. We don't do that. We're told that most people get their news from Facebook. We hope that's not true. I cannot tell you the sort of roadkill you could become if Facebook becomes the place that you consult for most of your news and you're a journalist. So journalists go to a repository like museum.org or kiosco.net, where newspapers from around the world are stored online every day to stay abreast of the news.